So when I was a kid, when I was about 5, my dad began to work a lot. He would leave at about 4 a.m. in the morning and he would get home at about 10 p.m. at night, which meant that I lost my dad because they were the hours that I was awake. I was a 5-year-old kid. And he would work that much, and he would work half a day on a Saturday, and then he would get home and he would shower because he wouldn't have time to shower during the week. But I liked this because I used to play this game, right? My room was across the hall from the bathroom, and I would sit and I would play Super Nintendo on the end of my bed, and I could look at the door to the bathroom and yellow light would be coming out and steam, and I'd be like, oh, Dad's having his weekly shower. And I'd play this little game, and you can play it, I'll teach you it. I would sneak into the shower, there's steam everywhere, and I would just get like a cup or a measure, anything that holds liquid, and I would fill it with cold water, and I would climb up on the bath, and sometimes I would just tip it over the shower curtain, and other times I would I'm throwing it in someone's face, But either way, all this cold water would rain down on top of my dad while he was in the shower, and he'd go, ah, and then I would run out. And I would keep doing that, and keep until he cottoned on, and he would hear me sneak in, and he'd pull back the curtain and he'd say, I'm gonna suck your brains, and I go, oh no, and I would run out. And that was the game we would play. That was what my dad would do with me on a Saturday. And when I was alone, when I was in the shower, I'd play this different game. It was called shaving. Now, I was a 5-year-old kid. My dad would have a razor in there, and I'd still play it, but I play to win now. But back then, I was like, I just pretend to shave, blah, blah, blah. Now, one Sunday, I'm minding my own business, having a round of shaving. It's going pretty well. And I look up, and I see something above the curtain, and it's a bucket. It's a big brown garden bucket. And either side of it are 2 hands. My dad's hands. Now, he tips the bucket forward, and a bucket full of cold water just goes poof on top of me. That's quite funny. Now, what's not great is I'm playing shaving. So, I don't know whether it was the shock or the force, but it made the razor, move on a not fun angle. You know what I'm saying? So, I sliced my side of my face open, and I scream. Now, Dad thinks I'm screaming because I'm cold. I am cold, but I'm also bleeding out of my face. I scream, I turn, I hit my head on the soap dish, bam, second cut on my face. I'm bleeding out of 2 places. I drop the razor, screaming, step on the razor. 3 cuts, covered in blood. I run towards the sound of the adult laughing at me in pain. I get tangled in the shower curtain, and I do that thing that kids do where they just turn around, and I start turning myself, and my dad sees there's blood, and he's like, shit, I've killed my child. And he's trying to untangle me, but I've turned myself around. I've made a funnel, so now that's filling up with water and blood, and I'm drowning inside a shower curtain. And my dad's trying to untangle me, and he panics, and he puts his arms around me, and he goes, and he just rips the shower curtain off, and all this water spills out of the end, and he drags me into the lounge, and he goes, and dumps me, and he rips the plastic back like it's an autopsy, and I lie there. And I get my breath back, and my face is covered in blood, and my foot's got blood coming out of it. And I look my dad in the face and I say, why did you do that to me, Dad? And Dad, completely earnest, as though it's a valid response, says, I thought it would be funny. There's a nice part to this story. The reason this story is about love is that years later, when I got up on stage and started to talk about these things that my dad would do, I realized something. We never owned a bucket growing up. My dad went and bought a bucket from Bunnings so he could do that to me. And to me, that is love. It's pouring a bunch of cold water into someone's warm little bubble just to say, hey, I'm here. I'm thinking of you. Maybe I can't do it with my words or even my actions, but I'm thinking of you. And when I'm driving home from work at 10 p.m. and there's a bucket rolling back and forth on my passenger seat with a price tag from Bunnings, I'm thinking of you. Always, I'm thinking of you. Thank you.